It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, it sure is. Welcome one and all. It is Wednesday already. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We've got a lot to cover on the program today. We're going to cover quite a bit. You know, this trip that President Trump has made through Asia, it's really an amazing trip because, you know, when he was dealing with the tariffs, right, the import taxes, one of the biggest violators when it came to the import taxes was Japan. Remember this? They had huge double-digit tariffs, like 40% and even higher on something. And he was always talking about Japan. And look at how Japan has treated him. They treat him like he's the emperor. The amount of respect that President Trump has gotten throughout Asia, and these Asian countries are where it's not just Japan, other countries too have just been ripping us off with the tariffs, and they don't seem as bothered by it as all these Trump-hating Democrats that I hear from on the program here. They all seem upset about it, but I don't see the Prime Minister of Japan or Malaysia, these other countries, they don't seem to have any problem with it. And, you know, it also seems that they're excited that America is back. You know, we have had two incredibly destructive presidents, right? We had Biden and Obama. And Obama's still at it. I mean, you know, Obama's behind Mamdani. There's been so much just destruction done by this country by the 12 years of the Obama-Biden presidency that a lot of people, and I'm one of them, consider that it was Obama's third term in that Biden presidency. So a lot of things are happening. You know, I was talking earlier this week about the Pam Bondi assassination attempt that they stopped, about how it was about all these grand juries and everything, no doubt about it. But also, did you see the criminal referrals going on? And also, they're actually talking about tossing out the Biden pardons. There's a lot of very scared people. President Trump, he's turned their world upside down in a way that has never been done. And as much as these lefties and the media and the permanent Washington class hate on President Trump, these leaders around the country love him no matter where he goes. The Middle East, all the countries in the Middle East, Israel, all these countries in Asia, they love him and they love our country. These people in other countries love our country more than Democrats do in the United States. Now, before we get into the new stuff, I noticed there's been at least two that I know of where President Trump was asked about running for a third term by the press on Air Force One. And they asked him about it the other day, if he was going to run as vice president to J.D. Vance. And remember that one? And then, let me see, I wasn't going to play this now, but I'll pull it up. There's two clips that I want to share of this. The first one is Senator Tommy Tuberville. And Tommy Tuberville commented on Trump. This is in the Senate office hallway. This is yesterday. He commented on President Trump running for a third term.
Senator, is it constitutional for President Trump to run for a third term? He's teasing that.
If you read the Constitution, it says it's not. But if he says he has some different circumstances that might be able to go around the Constitution, but that's up to him. We got a long way to go.
But you're open to it.
Well, I think that there's going to have to be an evaluation from President Trump's viewpoint to the Constitution. There will be a lot of legal aspects to it. Will it happen? It's very unlikely, but don't ever close the book on President Trump.
Okay, so that's Tommy Tuberville. And then yesterday, I guess maybe early this morning, I'll play this next clip. It's President Trump on Air Force One. And this was the second time I know of where they asked President Trump about running for a third term. And here that is.
It just says you're trolling when you talk about a third term. Are you trolling or are you serious?
I don't think he said that. I don't think he used that term, but it's a very interesting thing. I have the best numbers for any president in many years, any president. And I would say that if you read it, it's pretty clear. I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad. I'd be stupid.
Okay. So that was the second time they asked him about it on this trip. The third time I've seen the press ask people about it, if you include Tuberville, yesterday. So why are the press asking about this all the time? Well, I got a call yesterday afternoon on my podcast. Are you guys listening to my podcast, by the way, in the afternoons on the week? You should. I take live calls. It's just like this, except it's my podcast. But anyway, I got a call from a pretty sharp guy. He called yesterday. And he was actually talking about this, and he said, President Trump, his entire first term was a coup. He was under a coup during his entire first term. And he says, I would consider this to be Donald Trump's first term, not his second term. And when he said that, it started to make a lot of sense to me. And yeah, I agree. This really is President Trump's first term. The previous first term, Obama had this spy ring nonstop going on where he wasn't even allowed to perform the duties of president. I think a strong case could be made that this is President Trump's first term. But I'll tell you this, the reason I bring this up about Trump 2028 is because the press keep asking about it, right? We had two different White House correspondents ask President Trump about it, different days on this trip. This one that I just played for you, and then like 2 days ago, they asked him. Remember, he had Marco Rubio behind him. He was talking about JD and Marco Rubio, what great guys they'll be as presidents and all that. Remember that? So the two different reporters on Air Force One in the last 2 or 3 days have asked President Trump. Then this reporter, who's a national reporter, asking Senator Tommy Tuberville the same question. So the reason I bring this up is there's something going on in Washington where the permanent Washington class and the Washington media are freaking out about a Trump third term, Trump running in 2028. There's something in play that I don't know what it is right now, but there's something in play that has these Washington media elites and the permanent Washington class freaking out over Trump running in 2028. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something that's on the front of their minds. With everything going on, why do they keep asking about this? Why are they asking Republican senators? Why are they asking the president, wasting a question on the president? There's something going on that has them worried that a third Trump term is a possibility. That's why they keep asking about it. Now, I don't know what that is, but they keep asking, so there's something going on. If any of you know, or maybe you don't know, or maybe you have some speculation, I'd certainly like to hear from you. But it is definitely on their mind. Now, I want to talk for a moment. Our newest sponsor, George Colony, with Kai's Real Estate. You know, George Colony, he has over 6 decades of experience in the real estate business here in Florida, okay? And I know people are getting upset with me about this because some have told me, but when you go out and you buy a house, for most everyone, that's the biggest financial decision you will ever make. And it's not just the biggest financial decision you'll make for yourself, but for your family. That even is a multi-generational decision, because maybe you're going to leave that house to your kids or grandkids. And when you're making a decision on real estate, you put everything in the hands of your real estate agent to handle everything, find you the right property for the right price, make bids. But who's doing that for you? Is it someone who is doing real estate part-time while the kids are in school during the day? Is it someone who's working as a bartender at Chili's on the weekends at night and then doing real estate on the side? Why would you make the most important financial decision of your life for you and your family and rely on someone that was working at the Old Navy and took a real estate course online. Nothing against those jobs or anything, but you know, when it comes to making a financial, you know, it's like with Jupiter Joe. I make a big deal about Jupiter, the Jupiter part, because that's an upscale. Don Jr. and Eric Trump live in Jupiter. A lot of that's where the successful people are. You get financial advice, you want to get it from the successful people, not from people that are working at the Old Navy and take an online real estate course. And that's where George Colony comes in. You know, he has bought or sold $5 billion worth of transactions, $5 billion with a B. He's a founder of an 8-figure business. He knows this market. Now, those of you that are around the country that are thinking of moving to Florida, you call George Colony. He can help you too. But, you know, you hear the commercial that we have running with George Colony. He says, people ask me all the time, when's the right time to buy or sell real estate? And he says, I thought this was a pretty sharp thing, it's always the right time to buy or sell if you have the right advice. And that's what you will get with George Colony. This number rings directly to his cell phone. I was introduced to him by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. So you got a double endorsement there from Tom. Give George Colony a call. This rings directly to his cell phone, 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. We'll be right back. But Mike's going to do that when he gets here. Mike said he's going to do that when he gets here. As much of a drive it is, it's nice when I'm here that I don't have to do much because Mike does everything. When I'm at my studio, Mike is here. He runs the show from in here when I'm not here. If you're on hold, hang in there.
Waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to One Lab Test Now with Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing.
Mike needs a raise. Yeah, well, I agree with that.
Any lab test now with Boca, at any lab test
But
now
it's not up to me.
There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now with Boca at any lab test now with Coral Springs. But make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, this is going to be a winner.
From Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. Who are you talking to? I heard you're in a conversation with someone.
Yeah, I was on my phone, but anyway.
No, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? It's only.
Sometimes I like to practice my calls before.
Oh, you practice? Don't practice. Don't practice. Don't practice. You mean talking to yourself? That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate the before you get into what you called about, Mike. I want to appreciate the honesty, because how many times have you heard me say to people, this conversation was a little different when you were talking to yourself in the mirror, pretending to talk to me, and I've never heard anybody actually admit that they practice a little bit before they call. So I commend Mike from Louisiana on really, that's kind of almost like an embarrassing thing to admit. So I commend you for your honesty, Mike from Louisiana.
Thank you. You know, you're right on this thing with this third term. What is when the president takes the oath, right? What is part of the oath say? To faithfully execute the office, right? Well, you can argument because of all the stuff, the coups that was going on in 2016 through 2020. You know, he was not able to faithfully execute the office.
Correct, because he was obstructed by the previous president, Obama, and his coup.
Yeah, well, that too, but also a lot of the people that he had in his administration, and a lot of the never-Trumpers that were in his administration as well. You know, so
yes,
this person, I mean, this is a guy that I would be all for our favorite president, the best president ever, as the next president of the United States.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, I appreciate the call. All right, take care. That was nice of him to admit that. That was good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John Miller.
Yeah, John.
Wanted to congratulate you on what a great job you've done, what you continue to do. I think it's fantastic, frankly. I'm a traveling person at the moment, but I think you've done a fantastic job.
When you say I've done a fantastic job, what is the job you think that I'm fantastic at?
You go on the radio and you say a lot of great things.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's very impressive, I have to say that. And I don't want to necessarily say my name.
That's okay. But you already said your name.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, John. I appreciate the kind words. All right, take care. I don't know if I trust John Miller. That must be the name of like some terrible person, like a Nazi or something. It must be like a famous Nazi, like maybe the author of the Turner Diaries or something. I don't know. There's just something. He said that name. I don't want to give my name, and then he said his name twice. So there's something. Does anybody know who John Miller is? Oh my goodness, I tell you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Must be like a famous
Mike Cozy. Oh, like the thing on my microphone. That's a yeah. Is that it? Come on. You know, I don't mind being trolled or people attempting prank calls, but have a little something. All right, now another thing I want to mention before we get into, because there's a lot of new things going on in the news. I want to talk a little bit about this New York race. Okay, and I was thinking about Curtis Sliwa is just pissing me off. Okay, I always liked him growing up. Everybody knew who he was, the Guardian Angels, and I thought they were cool. But again, I mean, I have met many Guardian Angels over the years. They used to be around a lot here in South Florida. And I remember when I worked at a radio station in Miami, they were always around the radio station, guesting on shows. And I've met, I don't know how many Guardian Angels over the years, but a lot of them, South Florida ones, not the New York ones. And they're all weirdos. I've never met one that wasn't a weirdo. But that doesn't mean that Curtis Lee was a weirdo. But I'm really getting pissed off at him. And I'm going to tell you why. And then I got a thought about him, and I want to, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to the calls after the bottom of the hour break. Yesterday, I had the new poll that's out. Mamdani had a 20-point lead over Governor Cuomo a week or two ago. In the latest poll, the gap has been closed. He has a 10-point lead in the latest poll. And Curtis Sliwa is sitting there at 11%. If this narcissistic, I don't want to call him a has-been, because I respect Curtis Sliwa from back in the day. I'm just angry at him right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know what happened with Steve Kane, because Steve used to hate Curtis Sliwa. At least that's what everybody always told me, because Steve did morning drive at WABC in New York, and when he left and came back to Florida, they replaced him with Curtis Sliwa, okay? So everyone always told me that Steve Kane hates Curtis Sliwa, but Steve always tells me he loves Curtis Sliwa, so I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him about that. But anyway, Curtis Sliwa was sitting at 11. If Curtis Sliwa was not in this race, it would at least be dead even for Cuomo, and Cuomo might even be ahead of Mamdani at this point. And the only reason that Mamdani is 10 points ahead right now, he was 20, now he's 10, and there's been some disaster since that poll's come out, right? But it would be, worst case, dead even, if not Cuomo ahead of this lunatic becoming the mayor of New York City. And I know Governor Cuomo is a terrible person, and a lot of people are not with us today because of his failed leadership. But it is literally the first time I've ever said you got to vote for the lesser of two evils. I've heard people say that my whole life. I've hated that phrase. But in this case, it is 100% the truth. It's the lesser of two evils. And Mamdani's 10 points ahead because of Curtis Sliwa. And I want to... You know what Curtis Lee was like? Ross Perot. Ross Perot. The first presidential election I voted in was the 92 race. I voted for Ross Perot. But, I was a kid. I'm a grown-up now, and I know what's going on. And I came to learn that Ross Perot was CIA. He split the conservative vote, and we got Bill Clinton because of him. If Ross Perot had not been in that race, and it was a weird thing, he was in it, he dropped out, he came back, remember all that? H.W. Bush would have won a second term. Bill Clinton only had, if I remember, this is just off the top of my head, but I think he only had 43% of the vote in 92, Bill Clinton. And it was because of Ross Perot, and he was a CIA asset. But, and a lot of people say, well, what does that mean? Because Bush was CIA. Yeah, President H.W. Bush did something to piss them off. I don't know what it is, but he did something. Maybe it was that he didn't take Baghdad in the Gulf War. I don't know. But George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, Bush 2 did something to alienate the deep state. They plugged in Ross Perot, and that gave us Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton, that was incredibly destructive, and it led to Obama and everything else. Okay, and it's just terrible. The Ilhan Omar, the Squad, Mamdani, it all happened because of Ross Perot getting into the race. And Curtis Sliwa is the Ross Perot of this race, with his I'm the real guy and I'm the real thing. That's all BS. At the very least, it's just narcissistic. At the worst, there's other things going on with Curtis Sliwa, But Curtis Sliwa is without question the Ross Perot of this race, and he might as well go out and give speeches for Mamdani, because Mamdani is only ahead right now because of Curtis Sliwa. So if he really loves New York, and that's his primary mission in life, why is he helping this guy? Because that's what he's doing. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Let me tell you about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And I want to highlight, this is for, when I say as low as $75 a tire on new tires, that's on common sizes on some of the most common vehicles on the road today. All right? Because I know when I say that, I don't want people to think I'm talking about like Fiat. You know, my daughter, her first car was a Fiat. It's like a golf cart size tire on that thing. No, some of the most common cars on the road today, as low as $75 a tire, brand new out the door and on the road. He has thousands of good used tires in stock as well. He also does tire repair. He has all the name brands you know and love, as well as great deals on run flats. Just incredible deals on run flats. Those of you that have run flats, if you have a Tesla, he's got the special tools for the Teslas and incredible deals on the Tesla tires. Give him a call. Friendly Tire, Friendly Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. His number is 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. We'll be right back.
Says pretty sure they found me.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said he'll double check and stuff like
Yeah.
that tonight.
That's really all I need. The Ross Perot. You guys agree with that? I mean, I think that if you're on hold, hang in there. I think that's exactly what's going on, and he's screwing us all over. Just no doubt. We'll be back shortly.
Savings and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate, and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me and
Beautiful.
went over everything. And
Beautiful.
ended up with this wonderful trust for my
Unreal.
daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with Connie's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You can call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number, and I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on...
All right, if you're on hold, stay by. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, my goodness, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Hey, it's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
I would do flip-flops if I could, but I'm almost 70 years old. I'm so happy. You know, they talk about the 20 billion Argentine crapola.
Yes.
Well, we only bought 20 billion of pesos through the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which the United States has never lost money on. With that purchase, and then Melee winning his midterm, we've made $2 billion now.
Yeah.
It's an exchange like the stock market, like the commodities. We've made $2 billion.
Well, and let me explain. You know, we have liberally impaired people that listen to the program. They don't understand. So President Trump bought $20 billion US. He spent $20 billion US dollars and purchased an equivalent of the Argentinian pesos. And with the election, the value of the pesos have gone up, so that $20 billion is now $22 billion, like in a day. I mean, golly. You know, that's, successful people that understand money, they know how to make money, don't they?
Yes, well, currency is an exchange, just market, just like commodities. Mm-hmm. And, well, we bought it October 7th. Mm-hmm. Melee won his midterm, and that shot it up even more.
That's right.
Dollars.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's Trump. You know, when have you ever, like this trip to Japan, there's I think it was about $8 billion in U.S. investments they pledged to make over there, Toyota doing some things over here. When have you ever seen a president of the United States go abroad and bring money back to the United States? They're usually going over there to give it away.
Oh, and the PM of Japan, did you see her jump up and down when she was on the aircraft carrier with Trump?
Yeah, he flew her out there on Marine One, and the Marine One is a brand new Marine One. It's not the old one. It's much bigger. Yeah, I know, it was cool. She gave Trump that gift of Abe's putter. She loves Trump.
Yep, she does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just a win-win. And you know what? That man is money. He knows how to bring money and make money for the United States.
That's right. That's right. All right. Appreciate the call, Joan. You take care. So I wanted to talk. Okay. So we are getting down to the end here for the food stamps. And I've talked a little bit about the food stamps. So they don't have enough money in the SNAP, food stamps are now SNAP, EBT. They change the name all the time. And they don't have enough money to send the EBT benefits out. And I've talked about it, but not too much, because I don't want people to feel bad. Food stamp, EBT, SNAP benefits, whatever you want to call them, there are people in this audience that are receiving these benefits that are in need and are deserving. And I don't want any of you out there that are in need or deserving, who are receiving benefits like this, to feel shame, embarrassment, although I guess that's the same thing, or that we're giving you a hard time. Because when we talk about these benefits and what's going on right now, we're not talking about you. We're talking about these people that are making videos and filling up all the social media platforms, TikTok and X and YouTube that are able-bodied, have no problems. They may have some mental problems. I'll give you that. And I saw one woman there who has children, who's receiving SNAP benefits. She said she showed the like a deposit that she gets. It's over $4,000 a month. I didn't even know that was possible. I don't know what she's got going on, but over $4,000 a month. And all these people that are making these videos, you better give me my SNAP benefits, my EBT, my food stamps on the 1st, or they're threatening to go and rob places, to shoplift. Have you seen these videos? It's very bizarre. And the level of entitlement has gotten to an all new level. And I'm really, this, when it comes to the government shutdown, we took care of the military. President Trump is taking care of the military. They will be paid. They'll all get paid. There's no problems with that. But what the Democrats are doing with the food stamps, this is god-awful. Now, there are a lot of people out there that we're seeing online that know how to work the system. They're 100% institutionalized, and they have college-level skills when it comes to getting government benefits they shouldn't be getting. And there's a lot of that. And I don't feel sorry for them, but there are people, adults and children, that do not have food in their house, and they don't have these professional welfare kings and queens that have been making all these videos on TikTok. Well, if I don't get my SNAP, I'm going to go rob places. We've seen these videos. Those people, most of which are overweight, they have a kitchen full of food, okay, because they know how to game the system. But we're at the end of the month. We're at the end of the month, and there are people receiving the SNAP benefits, the EBT, the food stamps, that don't have any food left when it gets to the end of the month. That is a reality. And the Democrats are at a and these are not all adults. Some of them are children. And there's a lot of talk that food banks are going to be overrun. There's a food bank in my neighborhood that gives out food on every weekend, and there's a line down the street of cars. And you can't judge someone's situation based on their vehicle oftentimes. But I got to tell you, there's some people in that line. There's a lot of people in that line for the free groceries that have luxury vehicles. If you are someone who's going to these food banks and you don't need the money, you don't need the free food, you're just cheap or a grifter, and you're driving a fancy car, an Escalade or something, don't do that at least this weekend so that the people that are in need can get what they need. But the Democrats are literally causing hunger. And there are people who have no food in their refrigerator or their kitchen cabinets right now. There's just a couple days left in the month. They're done for the month. They're waiting. Saturday's the 1st, so they probably get the deposit on Friday is when they would get the deposit, because the 1st is the weekend, and they're not getting it. And I feel so sorry for these people, and I don't even want to know how, I don't want to know how bad it is for them. I really don't, because it's sad. But and a lot of them have children. And, and a lot of them are sick and disabled. And they depend on these benefits to have food, and they're not these fatzos that we're seeing all over TikTok. And this is brought to you by the Democrats. They're causing hunger, the Democrats, and I'm not saying that figuratively. There are people and children, although children are people too, but there are people and children that are going, adults and children are going to go without food and go to bed hungry, and are going to bed starting Friday because of the Democrats. All so that what? So they can make some run to try to get billions of dollars in free benefits to illegals that shouldn't be getting 10 cents. It's really a shame. It's disgusting. that this is happening. It really, truly is. And I'm looking at this article in Politico. Politico's left wing. Here's the head. I'm not going to read through the article because it's crap, but here's the headline. Blue states blame Republicans for looming SNAP shutoff on government websites. That's BS. Blue states, maybe they're Democrat lunatic governors and Congress people, but not people. Most people know. But the ones that have the empty refrigerators and cabinets right now with no food in them, those are the ones, they're not blaming anybody. They're just hungry. And those of you out there that are Democrats, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You really, truly should. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of the first hour. I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You've seen this hurricane hitting Jamaica. Hurricanes are no fun, nothing to mess around with. We're lucky. We haven't had a named storm this year. We've been very, very lucky, but that's when I start to get nervous. You know, your roof is so important. If you need any type of roof work, call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, whether it's residential, commercial, municipal, any type of roof. He does church roofs. Covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. I'm going to give you his cell phone number. You can call or text him in just a moment. He works with every type of structure, also with every type of roofing material, and he can also handle the job of any size, whether it's one office building, one small single-family home, or a very large home, or an HOA that has over 450 units in it, or a massive office complex. He can handle the job of any size. Keep that in mind as well. Give him a call. His number is, right to his cell phone, call or text, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
For same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR. That's 833-ALL-YEAR.
For a limited time, save up to 30% off new air conditioners and repairs with all-year cooling.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
This is Steve Kane. The time for open enrollment is here. And as if Medicare wasn't confusing enough last year, there are major changes to be made this year. Some major carriers are pulling out of Medicare altogether. Do what we do in the Kane household. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. She'll review your Medicare plan for free. Debbie's schedule is filling up fast, but if you mention my name, Steve Kane, she'll put you right to the front of the line. Call Debbie right now at 954-753-8080. That's 954 area code 753-8080. Be sure to mention that Steve Kane sent you. Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
My name is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. Over the years, I've treated thousands and thousands of patients from bursitis, tendonitis, sciatica, stenosis, neuropathy, tears, post-surgery, pre-surgery, herniated disc, gout, bone on bone. If you can name the pain, most likely I've treated it over the years. Most of my practice is laser with robotic lasers. They're robots which rotates constantly around the area, where most lasers do not do that. So if you want to come in for a free consultation, as always here, welcome at Appleton Chiropractic. I'm here 6 days a week. I personally do all the treatment. You can bring your MRIs, you can bring your x-ray, you can bring your CAT scans, whatever you have to bring for me to look at, I would do that free of charge.
Call Dr. Appleton right now for that free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online at AppletonChiro.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve King.
All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Go from Corpus Christi, Texas.
All right. Bill in Texas. What's on your mind?
Just want to talk about some of the things that Trump has done that are positive.
Things that Trump has done that are positive? Is that what you said? Oh, that should be easy. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, Roy Cohn.
You got to listen. I heard what you said, Roy Cohn. But you got to. You're hard to understand because I don't know if you're like been smoking for the last 80 years or what. But it sounds like you got some phlegm in your throat.
I'm talking all right, so I just started up again.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. What about Roy Cohn? Yeah. What about Roy Cohn?
Hey, what do you think the most positive thing President Trump has done so far?
Well, that in his life, or you mean in his second term?
President.
As president in both terms, I would think the most, if I had to name one thing, which is the most significant thing he's done, that's overturned Roe v. Wade, because millions of people will live because of that.
So making up a women's mind what they can do to their own bodies, you say.
It's hard to have a conversation with you because all I can hear is, oh, women's.
Trying to clear my voice.
Yeah, saving the lives of millions of people by overturning Roe v. Wade. That's his big.
Our company and caused a lot of damage. A lot of damage.
Who's caused damage? Who's
caused?
Oh my goodness. What damage has President? Hold on a second. Slow down. Slow down. What damage has President Trump caused to the United States?
For one thing, he's got us at each other's throats. I don't hate Republicans. I don't hate any Americans. But when I fought and marched against President Trump, I was marching for all of us.
You were marching? You know, President Trump, you
good idea.
He's done it. Yes. You were in the service? Good. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing what he's done. Yes.
Putting on the street, I could have solved it in the crime.
Sure it has. It's cleaned up all kinds of crime. In fact, in Memphis, Tennessee, he sent the National Guard and federal agents, and they cleaned up the streets of criminals in Memphis, Tennessee, a blue city in a red state, just like in D.C., although they did have a shooting in D.C. That's right. That was a very good job, yeah.
The cops aren't doing their job?
No, they're not. No, they're not doing their job. Let me ask you, how old, excuse me, how old are you?
I'm 68 years old.
Oh my goodness. You are 20 years younger than President Trump, and listen to the difference. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I just got up. I'm not working yet.
Well, I should say, I said 20. You're 10 years younger. 10 years younger. I mean, you can barely speak. You know what I'm wondering? This voice problem you have, this talking problem, is that from like a lifetime of smoking, or is it Trump derangement syndrome? What is it? What's messing up with your voice?
From several weeks of fighting Trump.
Yes.
Several weeks of what, Trump? All right, appreciate the call. I'm trying. You know, Steve has this phrase, you know, like playing handball off a wet mattress. I'm trying to. You know that is, you know what that guy was? That's basically the Young Democrats. That's the president of the Young Democrats of Texas. You know, it's like if you see these protests, they're all the anti-Trump people are like senior citizens. There you go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? No, they gave up. See? You know, I don't know if you've noticed this, but as this second term has gone on, the quality of the Democrats that we talk to is going down and down every week. You know why that is? Because there's fewer of them. You're on the air. What am I? I'm a what?
A liar.
What did I lie about?
White people commit more crime than any race in this country. White people commit more crimes. Look at Sandy Hook. Look at.
Listen, you've got to slow down. Columbine, how many? Like 30 years ago.
Old ass man wearing a Trump hat.
That's correct.
You need to get off my school. Whatever. What you are? You scared? You scared? You scared?
Of what? What am I scared of?
Free speech. It's free speech. It's free speech.
Okay. Oh my goodness. They're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. You know, the entire the few liberals that are left, because most of the country has been red-pilled, right? So we basically have this small group of zombies running around, and this is the best they got right now. I love it. This is great. Now I want to get to that after the top of the hour, but I want to finish up on a couple things, and then in the next hour I'll get into some of the new stuff. You know, just finishing up on the government shutdown. Okay, you look at the damage the Democrats have done to themselves. The government workers union, the federal government workers union, has told the Democrats in Congress to end the shutdown. That is completely. Hold on a second. That is completely insane. You know, the federal government workers union is one of the most powerful groups in Washington. They're also hardcore liberal. They're always fight. And for them to cave to Trump and put pressure on Democrats is historic. In fact, so historic. And the news haven't even carried it. And what they're worried about is Trump firing people permanently during the shutdown. It has them. They have been broken. President Trump is the first Republican president to break the federal workers union. People talk about all these different lobby groups, right? The Jewish lobby, the NRA, Planned Parenthood, the teachers union. The most powerful one is the federal workers union. They're there. There's a lot of them. They're always unified with the Democrats, and this is the first major division between them all. Now, I want to tell you this about our cruise. Our 10th annual MAGA cruise is coming up in March, and I had Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot on. You know, we have 2019 pricing. 2019 pricing. This cruise leaves in March 2026, right after the new year. And we have pricing from 2019. Now, we were able to get that because we have a great relationship with Celebrity. This is our 10th annual cruise. Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot has a very good relationship with Celebrity, and he was able to negotiate this group rate. And we did so well, they extended it for us. Come November, the holiday specials are going to start from the cruise line and all the cruise lines. And you're going to start hearing a lot about Black Friday specials. When those specials kick in, we lose our group rate. So you want to call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot and make your reservation and lock in the 2019 pricing. Okay, it'll end without notice. I don't know exactly when those new specials will start, but they did tell us when the new special starts, we lose the group rate. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5600. 5779. 561-244-5779. If you get his voicemail, make sure you leave your name and number. He will call you back. Those of you that have been before on our cruises, we're doing things on board on our sea days we've never done before. We've got a lot of great things coming. We have some shore excursions we're firming up that are going to be lifelong memories for you on our shore excursions, by the way, which are privatized to our group. We're going to have a great time. And this is our largest group yet. A lot of you have never been on one of our MAGA cruises. You're going to have a wonderful time. It is it's a Trump rally at sea is what it is. So call Ian, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be back after our top of the hour break.
WQAM 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLM 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Today, expect mostly sunny with a high of 83 degrees. Into the evening, partly cloudy with a low of 70 degrees. On Thursday, expect sunny and breezy conditions with a high of 76 degrees. And into the evening on Thursday, mostly clear with a low of 63 degrees.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation.
Yeah, they can.
Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
That earlier crash I-95 southbound of Congress Avenue is now moved to the left and right shoulders. We still see some onward delays starting at Lincoln Boulevard. On the turnpike, watch for construction. Long Beach Boulevard to the West Palm Service Plaza. Spots on the roads, call the traffic tip line. Down to 50 keyword West Palm traffic.
I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities. Can you tell me about your experience?
I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He talks in plain language so that you know, because I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be set. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm set and I don't have to worry about running out of money.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right?
Exactly.
Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business for 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers, whatever car or truck you have, and get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Don't you hate it when you buy something online and then you get slapped with a huge shipping charge at checkout? Not at MyPillow.com. Right now, enjoy free shipping on all orders $100 or more when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. This is your chance to stock up on unbeatable deals on everything site-wide. Soft sheets, cozy slippers, plush bathrobes, mattresses, mattress toppers, pet beds. It's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. Order now at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, for free shipping.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
Oh boy, I tell you. All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been one of those days. I saw this story. You may have seen. This is in the. It's in many places, but this is from the New York Post. The Biden FBI was investigating over 160 Republicans as part of the Arctic frost probe. This is from that weirdo guy, you know, the Mar-a-Lago break-in crowd. 160 Republicans. Isn't this crazy? New York Post. More than 160 Republicans, including current Trump administration officials, may have been investigated by the FBI under former President Joe Biden as part of the FBI's sweeping Arctic frost probe documents show. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, the U.S. Pardon Attorney Ed Martin, White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro are among the prominent GOP figures named in FBI files released by the House Judiciary Committee Tuesday, detailing the massive scope of the Biden-era Justice Department's investigation. Okay. You know, this is so crazy. You know, we talk about this a lot, about what was going on in these last 4 years and what President Trump saved us from. But 160? You know what this is? It's an enemies list is what they were doing. Jim Jordan says, what we have learned is it was much broader and much more expansive than we ever thought. This is why we want Jack Smith in front of our committee in a deposition format, Jordan said. And Jack Smith is completely insane. He doesn't just look crazy. Remember that first picture we saw of him? He had the unkempt beard and he was in funny clothes that looked like a wetsuit. Remember that? He said the other day that he wants to have a televised open hearing where he's asked questions. Now, basically, he wants to make his case to the American people. That's how sick and twisted Jack Smith is. He thinks that he is an American hero. I've never heard of someone wanting to do that before. I hope they do it, and I want that too. But that sounds as crazy as Ted Bundy. Remember, Ted Bundy represented himself? This lunatic Trump assassin from the golf course represented himself. When someone does something like that, represents themselves, or is demanding a televised open hearing for somebody who did, keep in mind, he was the one that led the break-in of Mar-a-Lago, right? That's a crazy, crazy person. And to me, that sounds perfect. You know, when they do these hearings, I get very frustrated with them. Because the hearings we see on TV usually are the second or third round. They do the closed door ones, and then the ones on TV, they've already gone through this once at least before. It's almost like a redo on television, and I've always thought that was sketchy. So I hope they do what it is he wants to do and hold him accountable. And when it shows you not just how crazy he is, how arrogant he is. And if he's that arrogant, his buttons will be pushed. Because one thing I've noticed about crazy people in my life, crazy people, when you question them, they lose their freaking mind. And that would probably be the most historic House hearing since the McCarthy era. So they should go along with that. All right, so back to this is the New York Post. Was this a political operation you guys were running against President Trump? How many other members of Congress did you spy on? These are questions Jordan wants to ask of Jack Smith, who's completely insane. Former Attorney General Merrick Garland, ex-assistant Deputy Attorney Lisa Monaco, and Christopher Wray, former director of the FBI, all signed off on this investigation, the one into 160 MAGA people, Trump people, into conservative groups and Trump allies. One of those groups we know was Turning Point. In April of 2022, a memo released last week by the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley showed the probe was handed over to Jack Smith in November 2022 when he was named special counsel after Trump announced his 2024 White House run. Smith later charged Trump with unlawfully hoarding national security documents, wrongly seeking to overturn election, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. Many of the 198 pages of Arctic Frost documents released by the House committee are heavily redacted. The documents show Arctic Frost investigators used FBI agents in several field offices from Seattle to New York to conduct interviews and undertake other investigatory steps. That's a tough word. I don't know if I've ever said that word before. Several requests to record interview subjects was also detailed in the documents. One internal email shows investigators sought to expend $16,600 in travel in June 2022 alone to conduct more than 40 interviews. See, what they were doing was planning on putting President Trump in prison and everyone who worked for him in prison. And at this point, they had a plan. They were going to do this. Whoever the next president was, even if it was one of these Republican establishments. See, they never thought Trump would be back. Jack Smith doesn't care. I mean, he's a complete crazy man. Okay, Jack Smith. He's completely insane. I mean, there's no getting around that. Jack Smith is a nutcase. He's different. But the rest of they never thought Trump would be back. They thought he would be in prison. And the only reason he's not in prison is he won re-election. If he would not have been re-elected, that judge in New York Judge Mershon would have sent him to prison. He'd be in prison right now. That's it. I mean, we know this, right? And who knows how he would have done in prison. They would not have treated him well. And they were going to send these others to prison as well. And when none of that was working out in their favor, that's when they shot him in Butler. But it really shows you the extent of what was going on. And, you know, and those of you out there that on the left, when this Ukraine war began, this is one of the reasons why MAGA people were opposed to it, because what they were telling us in the media and from the Biden Autopin White House is, well, you know, we're defending freedom. And Putin puts his political opponents in prison, that guy that died in the Gulag. And we were saying, well, wait a minute. Okay, that's bad and all, but that's what's happening here right now. And the media and the Democrats acted like we were all nuts, even though people were going to jail that worked for President Trump. And the J6ers were in the DC Gulag and everything else. But now we're seeing the extent of it. And I hope we get it unredacted and find out every person and every group they investigated. That is so frightening that could happen in America, isn't it? And they got away with it. They were doing it. Now it's ended because Trump was reelected. But Jack Smith is the key to this because he's so nuts. Remember I've told you this many, many times. These evil and you look who else is crazy. Comey, you see it in Comey's face. Comey's crazy, Jack Smith's crazy. Brennan's not crazy. He's scared. I've seen him on TV in the last week. He's terrified of going to prison, Brennan. You can see it every time he's on TV. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he is a cooperating witness already, or he's trying to become one and get a deal. But Comey and Jack Smith are completely crazy. They got those Whitmer eyes. You can see it in their face. But you look at you look at this guy Jack Smith. He thinks he is an American patriot, just like Comey. He doesn't think that he did anything wrong, and the reason that he wants to have a televised Q&A in Congress is he wants to tell the world all these great patriotic things that he did. And this is the Republicans in the House are being handed an opportunity that's never happened before, and they should most definitely run with it. Now, Halloween is Friday. Monday is November 1st. It's holiday season. You want to call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You've got plenty of time to get in shape and lose all that weight before Thanksgiving, your Christmas parties, your holiday parties before Hanukkah, this is the time. You want to trim down. Remember I told you guys I went through my closet and went through all my shirts and got rid of all the shirts that don't fit me, and I got all these clothes that are years old. I'm wearing a pair of pants right now that these pants, I don't know, these pants might be as old as you, Mike. I don't know. They're pretty old. These pants, they're like brand new. They look like brand new. I keep things. When it comes to clothes, I just keep stuff. These pants I'm wearing have not fit me in years and years and years, and they fit me perfectly. These pants I'm wearing are like 15, 20 years old, and they fit me perfectly. They look brand new, too. They're khakis, and it's because I lost all this weight. I lost inches and inches off of my waist. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. My results are typical. Remember, I lost all this weight without any exercise, without starving myself, eating foods I would normally eat, and no shots or pills, okay? And they can help you no matter where you are in the United States. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
If you're dreaming of that perfect Caribbean cruise, nothing comes close to Celebrity Beyond, sailing year-round from Miami to the Caribbean, including our 10th annual cruise in March. Every cruise on Celebrity Beyond is unforgettable. Every detail is taken care of, and you'll enjoy all-inclusive fares, world-class restaurants, and top-quality beverages that redefine indulgence. Relax in the retreat, your own private resort within a resort, or unwind on the Retreat Sun Deck with panoramic ocean views. You can pamper yourself in Aqua Class, where 5-star spa experiences will melt your stress away. From the lively martini bar to the breathtaking sunset bar, every space on board Celebrity Beyond is designed to inspire and delight, all backed by Celebrity's unmatched service. Call Cruise and Travel Depot today at 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779 to book all your celebrity vacations. Because when it comes to luxury at sea, on board Celebrity Beyond, nothing comes close.
This is Steve Kane. The time for open enrollment is here. Last year, there are major changes to be made this year. Some major carriers are pulling out of Medicare altogether. Do what we do in the Kane household. Call Debbie and I Will Advisors. She'll review your Medicare plan for free. Debbie's schedule is filling up fast, but if you mention my name, Steve Kane, she'll put you right to the front of the line. Call Debbie right now at 954-753-8080. That's 954 area code 753-8080. Be sure to mention that Steve Kane sent you.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Cottage Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You can call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
This is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment. There's no injections. There's no medication. There's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser, or the acupuncture I do, or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online,
online, AppletonCairo.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Alrighty, we're back. 19 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, you know, I saw this morning. I don't pay too much attention to actors, but this one's important for this story. Mandy Patinkin and his wife have come out and endorsed Zohan. And they made a video. I'll play the video. Mandy Patinkin, by the way, he's Jewish. He's a Jew. And he's endorsing this guy that won't condemn the global jihad, who sides with the Palestinian terrorists that have dedicated their life to killing Jews. I mean, this is another example of how the Holocaust happened. And it really, though, shows you what a great actor Mandy Patinkin is. He's been acting for a long time, but the first thing I knew of him in was he was in the original Alien Nation in the 80s. But he'd done a lot of stuff before. And then he was on Criminal Minds, and I was a big fan of Criminal Minds. I like Criminal Minds. He was very good on that. And he might be most famous for that Claire Danes show, Homeland, where he played a director of the CIA. And in that TV show, Homeland, very good guy. He's going up against the Islamic terrorists and everything else. And now, but in real life, he's helping the people that he was fighting against in Homeland. Listen to this. This is Mandy Patinkin and his wife with Zohan yesterday in New York.
Rolling. Okay, we've got until Tuesday.
Boy, they suck with the editing. Somebody said rolling to them. The person that did that didn't edit out the rolling.
Rolling. Okay, we've got until Tuesday, and don't take anything for granted, right?
Yeah, what, until Tuesday? To what? Start the rounding up of the Jews in New York? What do we have until Tuesday for?
Rolling. Okay, we've got until Tuesday, and don't take anything for granted, right?
No, I'm never taking you for granted. I'm not taking this for granted. We are going to win this.
Oh my
goodness!
goodness.
We have this extraordinary human being who is going to lead our city, and eventually, if we're really thinking, our nation and the world.
Well, he was born in Africa, so he can't be president, Mandy Patinkin.
To a better, safer, all-inclusive existence. And that's what I love about this guy.
So please head on over to ZaronForNYC.com/GOTV. Sign up for a shift, knock on some doors, make some phone calls. Let's win a city.
And don't assume anything. Wait until the 8th.
And don't listen to her. Listen to him.
See what happens to actors when they don't have a script?
Well, we won't keep her yes, for a long, long time.
Oh, did you hear his accent? Zohan, we heard his real accent. That may be the first time I've heard his real accent. Okay, now let me rewind. This is interesting. Okay, if you're on hold, hang on. This is Mandy Patinkin and his wife, and his wife said keep working till 4 days after the election, and then they correct her and they're laughing, and then you hear Zohan with his real accent. I didn't listen to this whole audio before I played it. I listened to the beginning of it. Let me rewind it.
To a better, safer, all-inclusive existence. And that's what I love about this guy.
So please head on over to ZaronForNYC.com/GOTV. Sign up for a shift, knock on some doors, make some phone calls. Let's win a city.
And don't assume anything. Wait until the 8th.
Don't listen to her. Listen to him. Well, we won't keep her. Yeah.
We won't keep her. See that? Do you hear that? That's his real accent. He has the American accent, and then he says, we won't keep her, and you hear it like his Arabic accent. Let me go back. Listen to that.
Don't listen to her. Listen to him. No, we won't keep her.
We won't keep her. Whatever. I can't even do it. You hear it, Mike? Am I crazy? That's it? That's it? Wow. Well, Manny Patiglia may have helped us a little bit here. Okay, let's see what happens next.
Yes, for a long, long time. You can't do anything better than get out that vote, get your friends to vote, knock on doors, make some phone calls, and don't waste a second. Drive people to the polls. Get everyone to vote. It matters that they're engaged and that they're changing our city, our country, our world.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm going to keep that. So the way that he talks, he's doing an American accent. You know, now we've seen Democrats like Hillary and Kamala do this from time to time, but they were doing an accent other than how they really talk for just a second. He's been doing this American accent for the year that he's been running. Oh boy, Mandy Patiglia may have broken some news for us. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Adam.
Yes. Adam in Winter Haven.
Adam in Winter Haven, yes. Before I say something about Zohan, I just want to say, I'm, like a lot of people, I was a big supporter of Charlie Kirk. He stood for great things. I supported everything he supported, but the only problem I had, he didn't care about security on the rooftops. I haven't heard that much talk about that. Maybe somebody said, well, that's a Christian thing. I don't know about that, but he didn't care about security on the rooftops when he went. I have a problem with that. He should have. It may have had something to do with the thing happened with Trump.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, there had not been a political assassination of a non-elected official since 1968. So, you know. So who would have thought something like that would have happened?
Yeah, that's true too. But at the same time, I'll say, Zohan, is there any way Sliwa can hook up with Cuomo?
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. There's something going on with Sliwa that we're not privy to as to why he's staying in this. I find it hard to believe. It could be as simple as his ego, but there's something up with Sliwa. He's messing everything up.
He's full of himself. I mean, I think he stands for value. He has his values and all, but it's a tough nut to crack.
Well, it's too late. The early voting has begun. He's on the ballot, so no matter what he did, he's still going to be there for people to vote for. It's too late. He should have dropped out when he wouldn't be on the ballot.
When is the vote? The actual vote?
They're voting now. Early voting began on Saturday.
It's a lost cause.
No. Everything is going against Zohan. Things aren't going, you know. All right, I appreciate the call. Take care. Curtis Sliwa, but that thing, I'm going to keep that audio because I've never heard Zohan in I don't know, is that a Muslim accent, an Arabic accent, an Ugandan accent? I don't know what that is. An Indian accent? I don't know what that is, but that's not the way he's been talking. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great.
Did you guys pick up on that? I did. I mean, that is definitely not the way he normally talks. That is not how he normally talks. We've come up with we have found something. If anybody knows what kind of accent that is, let me know.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach
I am a pencil.
Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating.
All right, 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so let me get into some of the audio sound bites because there's a lot of crazy, great things. There's actually not a story out there, really, that I can think of that's not good for us and Trump and the country and everything else. And C-SPAN, they're pretty left-wing. They're pretty left-wing. Their audience is left-wing. And they've been getting nonstop calls from people that are liberal, that are fed up with this, with the Democrats. There was a guy that called there the other day. I'm not sure if I played this clip on the show or not. I think I played it on my podcast, but there was a guy the other day who called C-SPAN liberal. He was one of the government worker union guys, and he was flipping out. And then this call is from a Democrat that called them yesterday. Let me cue this up. Listen to this. This is C-SPAN yesterday, a caller.
I am a Pennsylvania Democrat, and I would like to tell my party and those that the American people voted for to be sitting in those chairs that they need to vote yes. This, and I don't know if everybody gets their news from, social media, but I have watched for the past couple of days the YouTube and the people that are receiving the benefits stating what their plans are. And I don't want to be in the grocery store when this goes down. I have a problem with my party, and I'm not going to change my party. I just won't vote for a Democrat.
Wow. Okay. So remember I was telling you this at the beginning of the show, that these people that are on government assistance that are not deserving, not the people that are in need, right, that have financial issues or sick or elderly, have children that, these are people that are, many of them morbidly obese, very entitled, and they're talking about going to the grocery stores. They mention Walmart a lot, but they're going to go on a big shoplifting spree because they're entitled to get these groceries. And if they're not going to get their SNAP benefits, they're going to go and take them. That's what she's talking about. The work that has happened in just really the last year with the Democrats, it's been a slow just evaporation of the entire Democrat Party. Lifelong Democrats, like that lady there, and she's not alone. C-SPAN's been dealing with a lot of this in the last week or two. Lifelong Democrats will not vote Democrat again. They're leaving the party. Now, that lady there says she's still going to stay a registered Democrat. But yeah, so what? Bobby Kennedy is a registered Democrat probably. Because what's happened is the Democrats, see, when this really started happening was when the squad came along. And what happened with the Democrats is they let the activists take over the party. See, the way that elections used to work, when you were in a primary, this is how it used to work before you had the modern media, right? In primaries, politicians would go, because off-year elections and primaries, okay, presidential primaries, off-year elections, the politicians on both sides would cater their message to the most extreme people of either the left or the right, because those are the ones that'll turn out. You don't really get a big turnout during these off-year elections, and they cater their message to activists, right? And both parties did this historically. And what happened with the squad is the activists started getting elected to Congress and mayors and governors. And this happened for a number of reasons. A lot of it is George Soros, right? When George Soros started getting involved in local elections is when this really started to happen. And if you remember when the squad first came to Washington and they were acting nuts, you don't hear too much about them anymore. Nancy Pelosi had a press conference, and she was talking to Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, and she was talking to Tlaib in particular. I can't remember what Tlaib did, but she had done something or said something or did something. I can't remember what it was. It was the early days of the squad. And she said, members, that's what they call each other, members of Congress. She says, members have to realize they're members of Congress. They're no longer activists, and they have to make the transition from activist to a member of Congress. And they're not able to do that. In fact, they're not even interested in doing that. And to this new era of Democrat that's in the Congress, what you have are radical revolutionaries that are trying to burn down everything, right? You know, they're basically they're much like Antifa. They're almost anarchist. And to them, there's no agreement on anything. There's no middle of the road. It's either their way or the highway. And these are people that can't be controlled. And what's happened over the last, whatever year AOC got elected, what is she in her third term now? So in the last 5-6 years, maybe a little longer, is this her fourth term, or is she running for her fourth term? Whichever it is. But in the last 6 years or so, the Democrats have slowly lost control of their party, their messaging, and they don't have any leadership now to get these people under control. There's always been lunatics in political parties and extremists. Like, we got an idiot, Rand Paul. You know, Rand Paul was on TV just last night defending the drug cartel people that are getting blown up in these boats, right? I mean, so we have our own fringe lunatics, but Rand Paul's not the leader of our party. You know, he's useful sometimes and he's out there, but he's not driving the narrative for our party. Could you imagine if the MAGA movement all of a sudden was being driven by Rand Paul types? It'd be done. We'd lose everything because he's too far on these issues. He's a libertarian. Well, that's what they got going on in the Democrats. The lunatics are running the asylum, and a lot of people, like that lady from C-SPAN, they're like, I just can't bear it. Like, as an example, you know, the mayor of Chicago, right? Here's the mayor of Chicago yesterday.
No one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified. It is racist. When you have black babies being thrown in the back of vans, zip tied in the middle of the night, and masked men sticking guns in the faces of black and brown people, that is nasty, is vicious, is racist. Dr. King described it as an evil. Militarism and that formation is an evil.
Okay, so he's talking about the ICE roundups. Now, I don't know how many of them, I don't know of any babies that are getting zip tied, but, you know, he said it. But, you know, this is why they've lost so many blacks. You know, it's not rare to be a black conservative anymore. It's actually quite common. You're more likely to be a conservative than liberal these days on the street, people that are talking about politics, because of what the mayor of Chicago was saying about illegals. Now, so far, you know, they're calling it racist, they're black or brown. You know, if we were bordering a country, if as an example, if Canada were a third world country and millions of Canadians had poured into the United States, we'd be deporting white people. But that's not the way it happened, right? The people that have been pouring into the country primarily have been minorities. So yeah, the ones that are deported are mostly going to be brown skin. It's not why they're being deported, but he continues to go out there and say that. And that alienates a lot of liberals, like that, call it a C-SPAN, because what are they losing? They're losing, like right now, okay, they're losing people. They've already lost the black vote in huge percentages around the country. And these midterm elections are going to be a big upset for the left. You know, the Democrats are just assuming, well, you know, Trump's in power, they're going to lose seats. They're just assuming that. And if Zohan wins in New York, they'll take that as some big victory, which is not a victory to celebrate, not just because of who he is, but if he wins, big deal. A Democrat became mayor of New York again. All right, you know, that's not a big victory. that's a given that a Democrat's going to win. I mean, no matter if it's him or Cuomo, and it'll probably be him. Cuomo's a Democrat, even though he's running as an independent. That's not a big victory. But what they're losing is people that have been lifelong Democrats. As an example, with not just with fighting so hard for illegals, what's happened to people that are Democrats, they see that the Democrat Party is advocating always for the illegals. They're never advocating for them. And that's become apparent to them now. And they're plenty ticked about it. What's happened with the truck drivers is absolutely amazing. There have been thousands upon thousands of truck drivers that have been taken off the road because of the immigration enforcement. They don't speak or understand English, and they were given driver's licenses to drive semi-trucks really fraudulently. That's opening up a whole new job market. The sad story of the SNAP benefits not going through this week. It's going, and people are very well aware. The polling on CNN, they're talking about this on CNN, and they're polling. They're blaming the Democrats, and the Democrats are blaming, Democrat voters are blaming the Democrat Party for the food stamp benefits, the SNAP benefits not being deposited this week on the 1st. And they're very well aware that the Democrats have this Schumer shutdown going on because, yet again, they're advocating for foreigners that don't even have a right to be here and benefits for them. So, and this is, they're, in the old days, they'd be able to get a false narrative going and the Republicans would cave. They can't get the narrative going. People are too, woke, we talk about it being from, for liberals, but those that are really woke are people that are conservative. Now, I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. This is an absolutely amazing thing. They're saving lives every day. People are going in there and they're getting their heart scanned and they're finding out that they don't just have blockage, they have a lot of blockage, 80% or more. And they go in and they get it taken care of. It is Sudden Cardiac Arrest Awareness Month in October, a few days left. And cardiac arrest, you have a heart attack and boom, you're done. And the best way, the most preventative thing you can do to avoid sudden cardiac arrest is to go to Life Imaging FLA and get your free heart scan with just a few minimum requirements, which is valued at $699. Now, I was very lucky. I went in there and I didn't have any blockage or any plaque buildup. And it's hard for me to describe the weight off my shoulders that has been. Every doctor I've had for the last over 20 years has told me I'm going to die from a heart attack. My cholesterol's high. It's always been high. It's very high now. And they told me I'm a heart attack waiting to happen. Every doctor, primary care physicians, cardiologists. Sometimes I'll take my wife to the doctor and we know these doctors for years. They know my situation. And they tell me, you're going to have a heart attack. That's why I have so much life insurance. How many times have you heard me talk to Joe Thomas about all the life insurance I have? I have so much life insurance because I just assumed I was going to have a heart attack. And it's something that's weighed on me for years. I'm doing work in the garage or out in the yard. It's a hot day, and all of a sudden, the heat's getting to me. I'm like, oh, I better go inside. I go over to Life Imaging FLA. I get the heart scan. No plaque, no buildup, no blockage. I've got a great heart. So I'm not a heart attack waiting to happen. And the weight off my shoulders that has been lifted is absolutely amazing. They have locations in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and in Miami. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan right now with just a few minimum requirements. Again, it's valued at $699. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. That's pound 250 and just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break and be right back.
You'll be connected in seconds.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing.
Associations and HOA communities are being threatened by their insurance companies to reduce roofs or recover. We perform a full evaluation of your roofs, test the conditions of your bills, suggest repairs, set maintenance schedules, and write letters to your insurance companies. We are also safe for
Lose weight, I've lost over 35 pounds. I'll be doing that commercial in the next hour. I already did it. Did I already do it? I think I already did it. Yeah, I already did it this hour. All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, Tom, what's on your mind?
What were you talking about today? I heard you talking about Trump and the Democrats. I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself a Democrat, but I don't see that party going extremely left. Yeah.
You don't see who going to the extreme of what? I don't understand what point you're making.
I'm sorry. I don't see the Democrats going extremely progressive or left.
What are you talking about? They just brought 25 million illegals into the country. There was a Democrat was just arrested for an assassination attempt on Pam Bondi. A Democrat shot Charlie Kirk dead. A Democrat was arrested a week and a half, 2 weeks ago for an assassination plot against Benny Johnson. Sounds like the Democrats are pretty radical.
You could go tit for tat with the Republicans on that. I mean,
really, what Republicans are assassinating people and plotting assassinations?
How far back you want to go?
Well, how about in recent years? I mean, and just in the last 2 months, we've got a Pam Bondi assassination attempt, a Benny Johnson assassination attempt, 2 last week on the president. 20 years. I'm going back 20 days practically. Come on, give me 20 years.
The guy that shot Kirk was a Democrat?
Yes, of course we do. Because he shot the number 2 person in the MAGA movement.
How come he could just be crazy?
No, his boyfriend is transgender. He's gay with a and he shot the top Republican in the country after Trump.
A friend who's trans, he's Republican, voted Trump.
Yeah, but he's not shooting top Republicans. If
Causation and correlation.
Causation and correlation. Oh my goodness.
Just because you're one thing doesn't.
So okay. So excuse me. Hold on a second. You're telling me that a gay man whose boyfriend is transgender and shot the number 2 Republican in the country, you're telling me that doesn't firm up that he's a liberal?
I don't know that. Does he say he's liberal?
Why else would he assassinate Charlie Kirk? Are you really this stupid? Are you trolling me? Are you trolling me? Are you?
No.
Well, I'm. Oh, so okay. So you think he might be you think he might be like a schizophrenic MAGA guy?
I think he might be schizophrenic. Maybe it has nothing to do with college.
I think you might be scared. Oh my goodness. All right, appreciate the call. I mean, my goodness. I mean, I think his liberal credentials are strong. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, this is Rich.
Oh my goodness.
Up with this total, I hate to insult them, but total moron Democratic Party and Democrats as a whole. And not for nothing. There are 58,000. I'm just gonna end his argument right away. There are 58,000 plus names on a wall in Washington D.C. of guys that died trying to prevent communism from spreading to Asia. And now these Democrats are going to vote, and they're endorsed by all the big major Democratic people. They're endorsing a communist to run New York City. That tells you everything you want to know. This guy that just called you up is a total moron. The Democratic Party is totally out of control. They're not American anymore, and that's a.
Well, if you've noticed with the liberals that have been calling lately, their minds are not all there. They're few in numbers, and they've devolved mentally.
No, yeah, there are Democratic voters that are going to vote Republican because they see what's going on in the country. Normal people don't go for the crap that they try to spill on us. I mean, they don't want to see a guy 6'4" swimming in a pool against a 5'3" girl in an Olympic medal. They don't want to see.
So let me get this. So the endorsement of Zohan by Mandy Patinkin hasn't moved you towards the Zohan column.
Oh, the Zohan. You want to know something, Brian? I'm going to have him over to my house for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, great.
Everyone hear this. Yeah, he's coming. Zohan is invited because you know why?
You can't serve any pork though. You have to, I guess turkey's okay, but no pork.
But guess what? I do not have to buy my turkey because it's going to be free.
Yes.
By the stuffing. Everything is going to be free. I mean, I can even have servants come in and serve me and don't have.
Well, listen. A lot of people think that I'm wasting time talking about Zohan. They still say that it's Cuomo has closed the gap by 10 points and in less than a week, and that poll was done before Zohan got busted in this 9/11 lie about the aunt. I'm telling you, New York is in play. It really it's a horse race, coin toss, whatever you want to call it. New York is in play right now.
You mentioned about the EBT cards. How many people are on EBT? Do you know that that's most in New York City?
Yes. Yeah.
Whole borough. If you went, listen, they opened up a food stamp office back when I moved years ago.
Yeah.
They closed a 100-lane bowling alley and made a food.
Yeah, but you know what though? Those New York food stamp people are a lot of them are blaming the Democrats for not getting their food stamps this week, and a lot of them are too lazy to go out and vote too. The other thing, not only is Zohan, the poll gap has been cut by 50% in the last week. The early voting turnout, 60% of early voters are 50 and above. So that record early voting turnout, and they're 50 and above. That does not go in his favor.
John Kennedy ran for president of the United States way back. Okay, he was the first Catholic president, but he didn't run. I'm a Catholic. This guy is literally running on a religion, and that's sick. I've never seen a politician say vote for me because I'm a Muslim until this guy came along.
Yeah. And in New York City, we're ground. All right, Richie, I appreciate the call. Where you would think it would be a little offensive to do that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Didn't I just talk to you, Tom? It's one call. It's one call per show, and you didn't have anything to say and you didn't have anything to say the first time.
Talk about it.
I'm not auditioning topics for you. Continue to listen to the program. Don't call back today. And then when you hear something you take issue with, then you call in. I mean, you don't call in and say, "What are you talking about?" and I throw a bunch of things by you. My goodness. You and I are not going to talk about anything today because it's one call per show. We're done talking today. I don't have to put you on the air. I don't have to put you on the air. You're on the air because I let you on the air. Oh my goodness. Isn't this great? Isn't this wonderful? I want to talk about this great new offer from Sloman's Home Security. Listen to this. Sloman's is offering a free home security system. Yeah, right, free. You're going to hear that a few times in this message, right? Sloman's is offering a free home security system. Oh, by the way, did you notice that guy? He says, well, I'm just going to keep calling. Try that. Try that. This is the Impossible to Baba Booey show, all right? You see how they get on the liberals? They get very threatening, don't they? Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring for just $24.95 a month. For 5 years. $24.95 a month for 5 years. You get all that? All you have to do is call them right now. The number is 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. You'll receive now again, this is for a limited time offer, even though it's going to be $24.95 for 5 years. This is a limited time offer. A free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touch screen keypad, 3 door and window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. So you can check in anytime from anywhere. It's a pretty good deal, so give them a call. Again, 833-283-5050. Get your free home security system and professional installation today. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Can you believe it? Celebrating 49 years on the radio. Our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with your calls and much more right after this. Don't go anywhere.
WQAM 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLM 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Today, expect mostly sunny with a high of 83 degrees. Into the evening, partly cloudy with a low of 70 degrees. On Thursday, expect sunny and breezy conditions with a high of 76 degrees. And into the evening on Thursday, mostly clear with a low of 63 degrees.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
On I-95 southbound, you'll tap the brakes between Woodland Road and Congress College. On the turnpike, there are delays in both directions, starting at the westbound service plaza to beyond Lake Road.
Hey there. Okay. Hey, you there? Yep. Chatting anything in particular? No, the polls are in Cuomo. Okay, we'll talk about that. Hold on.
This is Steve Kane. The time for open enrollment is here. And as if Medicare wasn't confusing enough last year, there are major changes to be made this year. Some major carriers are pulling out of Medicare altogether. Do what we do in the Kane household. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. She'll review your Medicare plan for free. Debbie's schedule is filling up fast, but if you mention my name, Steve Kane, she'll put you right to the front of the line. Call Debbie right now at 954-753-8080. That's 954 area code 753-8080. Be sure to mention that Steve Kane sent you.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. Your prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest.
Oh my goodness.
Any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them I heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Hey, Steve. I had to ask you something, Steve. Okay. Now, you've told me the opposite of this forever and ever, but people used to tell me that you hated Curtis Sliwa. And I don't think... Well, let me tell you what people used to say, okay? And maybe you've had it... Maybe it's something you got over... Well, you know, I don't want to dredge up any old people that we got off our list of people that are good. I don't want to inject any of these people back in our life, okay? I'm going to tell you the story. When you did mornings at ABC in New York and you left and came back to Miami, Curtis Sliwa took over your show. And everybody always told me you hated him because he took over your show at ABC.
In fact, during that period,
all right,
I was on a no-compete contract, so I couldn't go to work anywhere else for, I think, it was 60 days.
All right.
Something like that. I was in...
Oh my goodness! Well, I wish you would have called your friend a few months ago and had him drop out of this race. He's messing everything up for us.
Well, I was listening to what you said. Math is not my big subject. I should tell you that. They had to burn down the schoolhouse to get me to graduate me out of school. But based on all the figures I've got in front of me from this morning's post, I don't see with the three-man race there's any scenario by which anybody wins other than Mendoza.
No. I'll tell you what's going on here. Okay. There has not been a new poll taken since the end of last week. Okay. No, that's not an up-to-date poll, and it's not a good poll. And okay, the main poll that's been covering this, I think it's the Suffolk poll. Okay, they've had Mamdani ahead of Cuomo by 20 points for quite a while, and then last week, before the weekend, is when they concluded the last poll. Cuomo gained and only had a 10-point spread. Okay. And I'll tell you why this is all good. It's not just that Cuomo's got the momentum, but it closed to from a 20-point gap to a 10-point gap. And your friend, Curtis Sliwa, had 11 at that point. Well, I'm not done. I'm going to tell you. I don't have the poll in front of you, but you can tell me about that in a minute. So the gap had been narrowed from 20 points to just 10 points before the weekend. Okay, then over the weekend, early voting began in New York. Record turnout for early voting in an off-year election. And the 60% of the early voters are 50 and above. So that tells us that that does not help Mamdani. The older voters are not out there voting for him. They're not going to give it to some kid that's never had a job. So that shows us that the early vote returns are going in Cuomo's favor, not Mamdani. And then over the weekend and then at the beginning of the week, he got caught in that big lie with the 9/11 aunt stolen valor story. So no, I would say, I'm not saying he's going to lose, but it's in play. It's a coin toss right now.
You're leaving out the destabilizing factor here is the three-man race. I mean, Mandani doesn't get a majority of the votes, that's for sure, but nobody gets a majority of the votes. Mandani's, in the latest poll in the Post this morning, got 43%, which is not a majority, okay? Cuomo's got 28%, which certainly isn't a majority, and Sliwa's got 19%.
Yeah.
When you add it all up, there's no way the next...
What's the headline on the article? That's in the New York Post. What's the headline on that article? I'll see if I I'll see if I can pull up the internals during the break and read through them and find out when that was taken and who they voted, because I don't buy that. I've been following the race. This thing that happened with him with the aunt was a disaster. I mean, he really ticked people off with that. First, it was a stolen valor fake 9/11 story. The aunt didn't exist. She, and he was calling everybody an Islamophobe in New York City, harassing his fictitious aunt. So that whatever poll they have, I can't believe it's up to date after everything that happened. Did I lose you, Steve?
Ma'am, of some of the people, and it shows the percentages. Mandani is 43%.
What's the name of the poll? Because I don't see it it's not on the online edition. All right, I'll look it up. I'll look during the break. There's no way now the only thing, Curtis Lee was screwing everything up. If Curtis Lee yeah. I mean, the way I was talking about it earlier, Curtis Lee was like the Ross Perot here, right? George Bush would have won re-election if it wasn't for Ross Perot, because he split the Republican vote, and Curtis Lee was sucking up enough that it could give it to Mamdani. But I can't believe that. I can't believe that is an accurate poll. Not after what's happened in the last few days. This story where Steve, when he not only did he get caught lying about this aunt. Oh, okay. I'll look it up during the break. Not only, well, it doesn't matter online, Steve. I'll look at it. I'll try to find it, but I don't know if I'll have time to look through the internals. I'll look at it today. If I don't have it during the show today, I'll go through the internals for tomorrow. We'll go through it. I can't believe that. What happened with Mamdani, when he got busted lying about the aunt, he had a street press conference and told another lie. Well, not my aunt, it was my dad's cousin, and she lived upstate or some crap.
Bad moments.
But those moments are pretty bad, and they're not factored into that poll. There's no way. No way. I don't believe that poll. That they may have taken that at Columbia University. I'm not saying he's going to lose. I mean, the odds are in his favor, but there's no way.
Three-man race. I'm trying to create a scenario looking at all the overview of all the polls this morning. I don't see him winning a three-man race, and nobody's going to.
There's a couple things going. This is what I see going against him. All right. One, I told you the stolen 9/11 valor story. Okay, that's one. The early voting turnout is going against him, right? It's record high early voting turnout, 60% or 50 and above. That goes against him. And the third factor, I've been counting on the corrupt Democrat boss Tweed machine up there in New York that doesn't want to give up all their corrupt deals to Mamdani and his crew.
Party insiders are definitely not united on this, but nobody's united. That's from the beginning. That's been from day one. That's been the story.
And a lot of people that get polled may be afraid to say that they're not supporting Mamdani because you don't want the pollster to think you're an Islamophobe, do you? So I don't trust that poll. No way. No way. Well, let's hope. But I do know this, that everywhere President Trump goes in the world, they love him. All right? Oh, my goodness. You know this lady prime minister from Japan's going to come over here. I hope she comes to Mar-a-Lago. If she comes to Mar-a-Lago, I'm going to try to meet her. If she comes to Mar-a-Lago. But, you know, the trip to Japan, okay, the media, they're not really focusing on this too much. When he was doing the trade deals, his main focus, if you remember on the campaign trail, was Japan. Japan had these insane unfair trade practices, and he fixed them all, right? And our average liberal in our audience is more upset at Trump about the tariffs with Japan than the Japanese are. The Japanese seem to love him. Did you see when he took her to the aircraft carrier? Oh my goodness. He flew the prime minister on Marine One to the aircraft carrier. She gave him the gift. The other guy gave him a crown this morning. I mean, you know, wherever he was, and was it South Korea? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it is, I know. You know, the thing with these trips, I have never, no matter where he goes, they bow down and treat him like the king of the world. I've never seen that with every other president. When they go on world tours like this, there's always one screw. Not only are there no screw-ups, everything goes with perfection, and he's... Well, let me give an example. Like, remember when Ronald Reagan went to Germany, and somebody came up with the idea of him laying a wreath on the grave of a soldier or something, and there were Nazi soldiers buried there. Well, go find a cemetery in the 80s that doesn't have Nazis in it in Germany in the 80s. I mean, come on, they were all Nazis. And remember that the whole thing was about being a Nazi. You know, I remember George Bush, he went to Iraq, right? He had this thing in Iraq when the war was over. And remember, somebody threw a shoe at him. I remember G.W. Bush went to, and they almost hit Bush in the head with the shoe. And he ducked out of the way. And then I remember Bush went to Brazil, and he and the Secret Service got attacked, and they had to fight off this crowd, and Bush even rescued with Trump, there's no protest. You don't see protest anywhere, right? And there's not one mishap, whether it's Egypt or Israel or Malaysia. No. And people that are new to following politics, they don't understand how unusual this is. You've never had, even with Democrat presidents, you've never had perfect trips like this, ever. All right, let's take our break. Who am I going to... Oh, I got to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton. Oh, man. You know, Dr. Appleton just got a new roof from Tom Laporta, by the way. Isn't that nice? Yeah, well, you know, he knows good guys. You know, the thing about pain, and this is, I wonder oftentimes what my life would be like if I never had met Dr. Appleton, Steve. He's rid me of pain 7 times, and I guess I would either be suffering in a lot of pain or I'd be a junkie. I don't know which it would be. I'd be on a lot of medication. But, you know, the cool thing about the robotic laser away pain treatment of Dr. Appleton, which, by the way, is completely painless. You don't even feel it when it happens. Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself. But of all the pains he's relieved me of 7 times, sometimes from injuries, from falling, sometimes just like my arthritis growing old, not only has he rid me of pain, but the pains have never returned. The first time he rid me of pain was over 3 years ago on my right knee, and I'd suffered from pain in that knee from a car accident about 30 years ago. The pain gone after just 2 treatments and has not returned. And the other 6 times since, same thing. None of the pains have returned. It is absolutely amazing. Give Dr. Appleton a call. The consultation is free and appointments are not necessary. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Stevens here. I can't get the internals of that poll. I got the article, but they're not there.
After 9/11 because she didn't feel safe wearing a hijab.
Yeah.
And the female voter that he's talking to said that must have been devastating, Mr. Mandani. My aunt stopped taking the subway after 9/11 because she was incinerated in the North Tower.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, the reason listen, the reason he's doing so well isn't because in New York is not because of these liberal New Yorkers. I mean, it's part of it, but it's not just because they're so afraid to say the elephant in the room that that he's Muslim. And if Cuomo would have run a real campaign, listen, 9/11, you want a Muslim, he'd be winning right now. But they don't want to do that. They're afraid.
I mean, the reality is, if it was any of them running against any one of the others, Mandani would lose because he doesn't represent a majority point of view.
Yeah.
With three people in the race, mathematically, that's what screws him.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's why something's up with. I don't think this is just narcissism on Curtis Lewa's part. I think there's something else going on. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to guess on the air. I'll tell you off the air. But there's something more to this. There's something more to this. Why would he do this? I'm not saying anything, but there's something. I didn't say anything like that. There's something going on. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't make sense for him to. Basically, he's working for Mamdani. That's why I'm so ticked off at him. Because I always liked him. But you listen. Is he? Why? I mean, come on. What do you mean what makes him a great guy? He was a great guy in, I guess, 81 or something. Mm. No. I'm just infuriated about it. I know, a lot of people probably because I've been talking about this race all week, right? 3 days in a row. I did a whole show on Monday about it, and I know a lot of people think, why are you talking so much about this New York race? It's because this is not like Dinkins, okay, who was just an incompetent idiot, and Dinkins gave us Mayor Giuliani, right? Mayor Giuliani would not have become mayor if Dinkins wasn't such a disaster. What this is something different. This is a domino that would be falling. And you look at what's happened to Minnesota and Michigan, and that'll be New York. Yeah.
Take over, and they're trying to organize. The big picture is they're trying to orchestrate a national campaign.
That's right.
They're going to use him to try to do that.
See, once
I don't think this guy's going to be successful.
Well, what's
up in the end destroying all of them, and that is Donald. Going to end up destroying him because Donald. I was talking to my sister about this.
Yeah,
Donald's taking his measure now. He's not talking a lot about it, and Don's figuring out which angles to play with it and which. He's coming up with creative. You know how he does that great satire that makes everybody laugh, and by the time you stop laughing, the opponent has been by what did I say? Ridicule. Remember what I told you?
Yeah, that's the end. That's the end. For a politician, it's the end. But he'll already be mayor by that point.
doesn't matter in terms of what they're true. They're looking for a national thing. They're looking to create a national movement and use him to do that. I don't think they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
They'll decimate him.
All right, well, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. Archie from the beautiful Huron National Forest.
Hey,
okay.
How you doing? How are things in the woods?
Oh, beautiful, Steve. The fall colors, they're peaking right now, and some of the trees that are green still have their leaves. It's just on fire. I just go for drives just for the sake of going for a drive. I look for an excuse to... I've got the most beautiful rolling farmlands and hills, not just flat farmland, you know? And it's all run by the I'm all in the middle of the Amish country up here. I'll tell you, if I go to run errands, 4 out of 5 of the businesses I go to are Amish.
And everybody is jealous. What do you have for us?
Okay, Brian, I know you're thinking clearly. I used to be from Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, but I'm living up here now, pretty much. But Brian, you're thinking clearly. I understand what you're saying about the win, you know, but Cuomo is a proven Democrat loser that destroyed New York City. I mean, all the fallout now is because of his zero bail and the import, and Adams was fighting for the illegals and arguing that they were going to go against Trump and keep the illegal sanctuary. You know, we just can't help them if they're not voting for their own suicides.
But, you know, this isn't, but you got to understand, this isn't Dearborn, Michigan. It's New York City. New York City is the most important city, not just in America, but in the world. And if, you know, when you look at, and please, Steve, don't ask this guy about the forest ever again, okay? He starts getting into poetic greeting cards. No, I should not have said forest myself. Okay. In there's 2 great cities in Western civilization, and one of them's already fallen. New York City and London. London's gone. And they've got their sights on New York. And if New York goes the way of London, what's left of Western civilization? You understand what I mean? It's terrible. And I believe me, I'm not an advocate for Cuomo. I mean, how many people are dead in New York City because of his incompetence during COVID? That's how bad Mamdani is, that I would rather him be the mayor than Mamdani. That's how bad he is.
That's why I said you're thinking clearly, because you are disclaiming, you know, what you're saying and everything. You're very clear about that. But how much?
What's called covering your ass.
That's correct. Yes. Yes. Do I have to dump Steve? I don't know.
No.
I'm kidding.
Trump's first term, you know, if they can't see the proof from Trump's first term and everything that he did, and now they get a second chance and they're still fighting him, they want to jump off that cliff. And it's going to be, you know, the lemmings. And it's like, for instance, there's going to be another T attack. They haven't done it yet because, you know, they're going to try to pin it on Trump.
I mean, this is a textbook example, okay? When last week Mamdani went and took that photograph with that unindicted co-conspirator from the 93 Trade Center bombing and the one of the guys from the Central Park 5, and it barely even made the news. I mean, you know, it's insane. It is insane. All right, listen, appreciate the call. We got to take our break for the bottom. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
We're at the bottom now.
What's up?
It's like recording new one.
He didn't come?
No, we're still recording inside new one. I don't know if he's coming in yet.
No, I don't think so.
Visit all your cooling PBKCounseling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the
Assuming
All Your
Janice is a
Family
piece
is
of
here
work.
to serve
He's
your
the
family.
emergency. He has all that stuff. Like he has questions to ask this guy when he comes in for his.
It's okay. I don't know what to ask him. It's not a problem.
I'll get it when he comes in though.
I don't need. I just need his name, but.
Of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's a great week to visit PBKC with poker, table games, exceptional eats, and super OTB action. This Friday and Saturday, watch, wager, and win on the Breeders' Cup live from Del Mar with 14 of horse racing's most prestigious races. The poker room features high hands every 15 minutes, a $15,000 cash giveaway this Saturday, $100,000 progressive weekends, tournaments, and exciting table games. It's Breeders' Cup week at PBKC. For details, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pine. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You know, did you see Rand Paul on Fox last night? No, I did not. You know, he's another beaut. You know, I mean, you know, he's attacking Trump for taking out these drug cartel boats. You know, and oh my goodness. Well, he's a libertarian, so you don't want to hear his libertarian boring argument. Yeah, he sounds like a Democrat. He doesn't think that they know for sure that they're cartel boats. I mean, give me a break. You know, they have been Pete Hegseth has been releasing. I don't know if they're the cameras from the missiles right before they blow them up, or the satellites in space. But the photographs are really good, and they're very long boats. They have big outboards on them. Some of them have, yeah. And there's usually 3 guys in them. They're all in the back. There's no fishing poles. There's not even a chair, because a chair would take up room for one of the barrels filled with fentanyl or cocaine or whatever's in those barrels. Exactly. I mean, you look at those boats. Well, you know, Rand Paul's from Kentucky, so maybe he doesn't spend a lot of time around boats, but they're drug boats. I mean, there's no getting around it. But, you know, this is another thing. I have not heard, and I've done some research trying to find the answers to this. But there's very little coverage on the impact of this. And I did get a call. No, not Rand Paul. The impact of this war on drugs. I have not been able to find a single story. I was looking during the break again before I asked you about this and brought this up. I haven't seen a single story about the inflation on cocaine and fentanyl that's going on in the country right now. There's no way that prices haven't gone through the roof on illegal drugs since this has happened. The border shut down, so they're not smuggling much in, and the only people they can get to take these boats now, they probably kidnap their whole families and say, take the boat or your family's done. I mean, it's got to be that. They're not bringing them in by boats anymore. So the price, the inflation, they love to talk about inflation. The inflation of illegal drugs has had to go through the roof. I mean, it's had to. You know, and it's such a great story, and I'm shocked that not a single reporter has covered it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, JJ, what up?
No, hey, Steve. Do you remember the name Tommy Flanagan by any chance?
No.
Saturday night.
No. Oh.
The liar.
Oh yeah. Morgan Fairchild. Yes, I know that, Gary. Yeah.
Pathological liar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the president. That's Mama Kami. That's who that guy is. Everything he does, everything he's.
Well, did you hear that? I'm not going to play it again because I would play it again. But did you hear that video I played earlier with him with Mandy Patinkin, Zohan? Yes. Did you hear his accent his real accent comes out just for a second? So just for a second, and it. I think it's an Indian accent, and that's okay. I got nothing against Indian people, but it shows how fake he is. That this American accent is completely fake that he's putting on. I mean, he has a very heavy accent.
It's all theater, and quite frankly, I guess the New Yorkers are, for the moment, falling for it. But listen, there is a little hope. We've talked about this a few days back, but I don't know if I believe any of the polls or anything that's coming out of New York, and I believe the corruption may still come for him. We talked about that too. But I think the lady, listen, it's just tragic. But here's the thing about communism may take a little bit of a root here, but it'll just never work. I mean, he'll destroy. I mean, communism works for what? It might work for 60 or 70 years or a couple of years, depending on the size of the walls, the media control, and how many people you expect.
See, I'm more optimistic than you are. I'll tell you why. I think what's the end of all this mishigas that we're going through is going to be a plus. And the reason it's going to be a plus, it's the beginning of the end for these militant Islam people who are trying, the hardcore militants who are trying to take over the United States across the country, and then actually beyond the United States, the world. And what's going to happen is it's going to end up, when all the dust is settled, it's going to end up in the public's eye, a battle between control from Magnani if he wins, which he probably will unless somebody drops out, and Trump. And Trump is going to do what he does to all his opponents. He's going to destroy them. Because believe me,
I agree with that.
Magnani is attackable. There's no question of that. Can you imagine what Don would do with him?
The destruction. It's a shame that it has to happen, but I agree with you. No, I believe it's going to be a poster for.
What do you think? Let me ask you this: if he becomes mayor, next year is sadly the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And they do that event every year. And I know over the years it's not as big of a deal at Ground Zero every year. But on the 25th anniversary, it'll be a big year. Do you think he'll go there as a Muslim mayor of New York? That would be such a disaster for him. I mean,
he who controls the keys controls the budget. And New York's mayor basically is dependent upon the president of the United States with federal funding.
I know.
With that kind of an advantage in the pocketbook, it's kind of hard to win. In addition to the fact that Trump is as close to an unbeatable candidate as you can get.
Well, illegal aliens, food stamp recipients, there are good people that need that help. But for Democrat states and cities like California and New York, it's
going to be a disaster. But that's why the long range, the big picture, what my friend Warren Chiavaroli used to call the big picture, good for Magnani. If he wins, he loses. What has he won? He's won a chance to be destroyed by Trump. What's going to happen? Who do you put your money on?
I don't know. I don't know if he even makes it to next year or two. I think they'll get.
Impeach him? You mean remove him from office? Impeach him?
Happen
in a three-way race. It's mathematical. Basically, in the three-way race, there's no way Magnani loses.
Yeah.
After he wins, what I'm saying. He may be removed after he wins, but the thing I was getting to with regard to food stamps and all the benefits and stuff, the reason why Democrats, Biden, why they let all these millions come into America is because they are a money source for the socialized communist states of America. Those are federal dollars. So in other words, the 40 plus.
So who controls
New York? Well, that's why.
Well, the food stamp money, well, with the foods this weekend, Friday I'm guessing, because the first is on Saturday, so I'm guessing Friday is when they're supposed to get the food stamp SNAP deposits, and it's not. And if they don't end this by then, it's not going to happen. And I was watching CNN yesterday. They have new polling, and the CNN polling is showing that people are blaming the Democrats for the shutdown, not Trump. I mean, so we're in new territory with everything, with all these issues and with the news cycle. We're in new, unexplored territory with all of it.
I think that's true, except I think you got a couple constants here. Number one is that Trump can destroy anybody at him.
Well, you know what I'm wondering? Because now this is a possibility. Now, the SNAP funding, that's what they call food stamps now, right? SNAP. They have some money, but not enough money. What would happen? Do you think, Steve, there's a chance that Trump might do what he did with the military, find a way to pay for it, and then feed all these hungry people and be the hero? Or is he... I'm thinking he might fund it. He might find a way to fund it.
What he does.
Mm-hmm. All right, JJ. Appreciate the call. Wouldn't that be something? Oh,
shocking.
No, well, what would be the reaction to that? Like, there was, they paid this
reaction. That's what makes it so perfect.
They paid the service members, right? They didn't. No one in the military missed a paycheck. They paid them, and if you notice, there was no media coverage about this. In the old days, they would have, oh, they didn't get their check. They didn't get their check. Trump paid them. It's like it didn't even happen in the news. So with the food stamps this weekend, that's going to be the big... will Trump come in at the last minute and pay for it? And I'm telling you, I haven't heard him suggest this or anything, but I would, yeah.
Pretty well.
Yeah. And then he's the big hero. Yeah. No, this is, what people don't understand, we're never... That's exactly right. And you got to choose your battles. And Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and all these people, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. I mean, they're setting everything up for Trump to come out the big hero, paying off the military. If Trump comes through and funds the food stamps on Friday and the deposits go through, it's going to be like a miracle of things. People are going to be dancing in the streets when that happens. All right, listen, I want to tell everybody, though, about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. We're coming. Monday is the 1st, so it's holiday season time. Christmas parties, Thanksgiving, all of that will be going on. And you want to lose weight and get in shape before. And you've got plenty of time, because if you remember, I first met Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret on Inauguration Day, and we were a month away from our last cruise. And Dr. Zuckerman, he says, okay, Brian, what's your goal here? And I said, well, we have our cruise in a month. I'd like to lose some weight before the cruise, right? We're going snorkeling and all this stuff. He said, how much? I said, 25 pounds. He says, no problem. I'm like, okay, Doc, whatever. I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. I lost over 25 pounds before the cruise in a month. Okay, so call Coastal Weight Loss Secret and schedule your no-charge consultation right now. You can lose that weight before things. This is the time of year you're seeing people that you have not seen maybe in a year, 5 years, or even 20 years. Lose that weight, look good for all of the holidays: Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, your Christmas party at work. Here's the number: 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, Steve, and I'm going to go straight to that, and then I'll take a break, okay? All right, can we let's take the break first, if that's okay. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with much more, and the Gold Report, 888-465-2631. Back after this. Steve, are you there? Okay, I got the guy from the Heart Company is coming in studio here in the last segment. They just told. So, do you want to hang through that and come on after? What do you want to do? I'm just letting you know. Well, do you want? Well, I'm going to the Gold Report and then to that. So, what do you? Okay. Well, I'm not sure how it's going to work. Let me put you on hold. Okay, all right.
on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and we're back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking good today, bouncing finally off of those lows that we hit this week. Yesterday, gold hitting a low of $3,886, trading in a range of $3,886 to $4,021, closing out the day at $3,951.40. That was down $29. Since if stop
Yeah, we're having a bit of a connection issue with you, William, but I got you.
Sure.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're cutting in and out a little bit on this. We got a bad cell connection this morning, but okay, I can hear you now fine. So if you can give us the numbers, and then I can finish up.
Okay, so overnight we saw gold trade in a range of $3,929 to $4,031. Right now we're up $71.60 at $4,023, up $71. Silver up $1.27 at $48.25 the ounce. Platinum up $26 at $1,610, and palladium is up $7 at $1,390. So a nice bounce today.
That's awesome. And let me ask you, when it comes to, I love in the silver right now. What are some of the best buys in silver today?
Everything's on sale right now. The 100-ounce bars are very reasonably priced to Steve Kane listeners at just $1 over spot.
Wow.
Still 90% silver coins at a real bargain. Steve Kane listeners, $1 under the price of silver. Dimes, quarters, and half dollars.
Wait a second. Say that. Tell me that deal again on the 90% silver. I don't want to repeat it. It was such a good deal. I got to hear you say it, William. Did you say $1 under the silver spot price? Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's an insane deal. Go, guys. All right, listen, William Young, we got a bad cell connection, William, so I'm going to finish up. But give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, you can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail. His number is 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. And you can find both his address and phone number online at WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We have Tom from Life Imaging FLA in studio. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Well, I'm doing a lot better since I met you, okay? Right. And I want to tell, I've been telling people, I want to tell people about this because I went over to Life Imaging FLA, and you and I talked, and you were telling me about everything you could do, and I was sweating, man, because I've had my doctors have been telling me for over 20 years that I was just going to die from a heart attack, and I've had this weight on my shoulder for all these years. I came in and had the scan with you, no blockage, no plaque buildup. I've got
relief, right?
I mean, I got my people think, well, why are you so excited that you got nothing wrong? It's because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And now I've got my life back, and I left your office and I went, I'm not kidding, I called my wife and told her, and then I stopped off at McDonald's, and celebrated.
Yeah,
well, welcome, Tom, into the studio here.
Yeah. Well, listen, what a good story, and that's what we can do. We can provide that peace of mind that's needed. I don't know if I told you when you were at the office, I lost both my parents to cancer. For me, it's personal, I'm in my 60s, you don't realize until you get scanned how much it weighs on your brain. When's it coming, and what a relief. I got scanned, everything came back unremarkable, no disease in my body. I can go live my life. We have a great program where people can come in and get annual screenings. If you just come in once a year, you do a 6 or 7 minute scan. As it's very easy. You keep your clothes on. There's no dyes or contrast. And you get these answers, and it's an amazing thing.
Well, let me tell you, okay, because I want you to talk a little bit about the scanning process and the machine you use, because I assumed I was going to have to strip down and put on a gown, and I just wore my clothes. I didn't even take off my watch, which surprised me. But the machine that you use, because then I thought, okay, I'm going to go in one of those big MRI machines, and I get a little claustrophobic, but that's not the case with you.
Yeah, and the MRIs, I just had one done, and I was in the damn machine for almost an hour. And you know, it's very claustrophobic. They're very loud, noisy, and scary, right? With a CT, you know, the table feeds you in and out. It's open. You know, you're not in this tunnel, and it's very quick. It's non-invasive, 7 or 8 minutes. You know, we take over 900 images of the body. The doctor then looks at and evaluates and provides a report to our patients via the radiologist, right? But yeah, it's very quick, non-invasive. It's easy.
Yeah. Now, you know, you also scan not just for heart issues, but for cancers, as you said. Now, I had great news, but people come in all the time and find out that they've got blockage, they've got cancer. It's a real preventative thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You know, listen, heart attacks are asymptomatic over 50% of the time. You don't know until you know, and that's not what you want to do, right? And a lot of women think that heart attacks are the killer of the husband, but heart disease kills more women than all cancers combined. So I'm happy to be here. I want to get the word out to as many people as I can. We're saving lives on a daily basis, and we're providing peace of mind to the rest of the people that come through. But early detection, we all know, is what saves lives, right?
That's
and
right.
You know, and I can, you know, before we're done today, I'll give you a couple stories that are recent that are pretty impactful and pretty powerful. But yeah, the machine itself and the fact you keep your clothes on, there's no dyes or contrast. We're not going to poke and prod you with a needle.
No, not at all. And it was the whole process was I was in and out 15 minutes from the. We talked. I get the scan, boom, it's done, and I got the results the next day.
Yeah, that's right. You know, people just so people understand the process. You know, you dial pound 250 and say the keyword free heart scan. Once you do that, you'll be connected into our appointment setters, into our call center. They'll go over a few questions with you. We want to get an idea of your family history and your age, etc. And then, you know, once you get the appointment set, you come in, you'll fill out some intake paperwork. Takes about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. And then you'll sit down with one of our patient advocates. You know, not only with these free heart scans that we're providing, we do full body cancer screenings, and a lot of people don't know we do virtual colonographies, right?
Oh, what's that? Tell me about that.
So, you know, when you get a colonoscopy, you go to the doctor, you get sedated, you got to have somebody drive you, bring you home. It takes a half a day, sometimes a full day to get it done. We do virtual colonographies where we put you on the machine, we inflate the colon, and we take the pictures inside and outside of the colon. It takes 12 minutes. Say goodbye to sedation. No sedation needed. So we do that, virtual colonographies, and we do brain scans. You know, a lot of times people want to know what's going on in the brain. The brain's kind of important.
Yeah.
So we can do preventative screening of the brain, and we find all kinds of things that we can head off inside of the brain as well.
Well, you know, we all have stories and know people. You know, my stepfather, he had a massive stroke and had had no idea he had any problems at all.
Yeah.
And you know, while you do find people all the time that have massive blockage and everything else, and their lives are saved. For me, having the peace of mind knowing that I'm good, that I'm healthy, that I don't have blockage, that is such a life-changing thing. And, you know, when people come in, though, and find out they have 80% or more blockage, what's that like? I mean, that's an amazing thing. You've saved a life.
Yeah, that's right. It's very impactful. And remember, it's not just them, it's their family members. And I got to tell you, the day you were in, I saw the relief on you.
Oh, my goodness.
You left the building and you were like on cloud 9 and you were like, I'm going to call my wife right away. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do because for you saw how important it is. It's important to everybody.
Well, right? I told you, before I had the night before, I didn't even sleep because every doctor, and I'm not joking, I talk about this, I have so much life insurance because I just assumed, I'm in my 50s, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Every doctor, cardiologist, everything.
Yeah.
And you explained to me the whole process, and then after I had the scan and you gave me the news, I said, could you explain it to me again because I didn't hear anything you said before because I thought I was going to go from your office to the ER.
Right.
I really did.
Yeah,
I really did.
I saw you were pretty serious about it.
I was.
So I'm glad but listen, you know, doctors are reactive. Right?
That's right.
So the doctors are telling you you're fine until you're not. They react to medicine, and that's the way it's taught. That's the way doctors are. And unfortunately, it can be an issue.
Okay, now you have offices in Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. Now, when people call pound 250, pound 250, and say free heart scan, what happens next? What's the process?
Yeah, they'll be connected into the call center. You'll speak to one of our operators. They'll ask you a few questions and get you booked in. And then we work at your convenience on the booking, and we get you in. You know, we love to see couples come in. You know, husband and wives can come in together. We can offer free heart scans to both of them, and they'll come in and sit down with one of our patient advocates. If they have some interest in full body scans or you know, doing a virtual colonography, we can put that together for them also and get them scanned the same day.
All right. Well, listen, the number is pound 250. So grab your cell phone, pound 250, and call Life Imaging FLA right now for your free heart scan with just a few minimum requirements. Now, that's valued at $699, but you can get it for free. That's pound 250, pound 250. All right, Tom, well, it's good to see you again, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, take care. All right, now, if you're on hold, hang in there. All right, Steve Kane, you back with us? All right, Steve, I got it. Yeah, I know, great news. I know, Steve, you thought you're happy too. You don't have to go hire somebody else, right, to replace me. Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, Steve, let me tell you, you and I have been through so many different presidencies and campaigns and stuff together. You and I, we're like, remember Helen Thomas? We're like Helen Thomas. We've been through so many. And the amount of winning, this is what you want to do. You want to savor every second of this Trump presidency because there's never going to be anything like it again. We're never going to have winning like this again. I agree with you on that. You know,
Miranda, right?
No, I've always thought that. No, I'm not. I wear my Trump 2028 hat every day. See, I got a call on my podcast yesterday afternoon, and this guy, he was a sharp guy. He made such a good point, and I said, you know what? That's a good point. He told me this, and this is what he thinks Steve Bannon's theory is, because Steve Bannon is running around saying that they're working on a plan to get Trump reelected, right? And well, this is what this caller said, and I think he probably picked this up from Bannon because this was pretty deep stuff. He said Trump's first term was a big coup by Obama, right? So what he's saying is this really is Trump's first term. And I said, you know what? You're right. You know, because they totally stopped him from doing anything pretty much in his first term through the coup. And on his Asian trip, he's been asked twice on Air Force One about running in 2028 by the White House press corps. So the White House press corps think it's a real thing. But you.
I think there's no question in my mind. I mean, what Donald's going to do is what he always does.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to lay out a very specific agenda for the future. You know, he really knows that a couple months from now, when he releases the project that he's going to get involved in until at the end of until it reaches fruition.
And he's going to have so much in the pipe going in to the last year of his presidency that he's going to have to say, well, I complete what I started.
Yes.
And he's going to have a lot of these partial projects almost finished, like the big cities.
Mm-hmm.
They're half done, and he's got to finish the job is going to be the theme of the...
Well, one of the biggest stories that no one's covering is the miracle of Memphis. Memphis it's a blue city in red Tennessee, and he sent the feds in there, right, with the army. They have cleaned it up, and I've been seeing the locals are big on the N-word. You know, even when they're praising Trump, they like to say the N-word a lot. So if I put the bleeps in, it's, you know, there's not much left between the F words and the N words that they use. But there's endless videos on social media of people in Memphis praising Trump for ridding the city of crime. It's like, apparently Memphis, Tennessee was one of the most dangerous cities in America. I didn't realize it.
About 20.
That's right.
And he's not going to. The theme of this campaign is going to be a job. We don't want to leave a job.
That's right.
It's going to be the theme of the campaign.
And I saw a video yesterday of them loading up all Antifa's crap from their safe house in Portland and driving off with it. So by the time the midterms come around, there's going to be what's the opposite of a crime wave? Like if you've done like if you have a wave of ridding cities of crime. Yeah, well, yeah, it'll turn into popularity. But these cities around the country that have been living in crime-infested zones for 3 decades are going to be crime-free. And some of these blue cities are going to go red in the midterms. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the biggest upsets in the midterms maybe anybody has ever seen in any of our lifetimes. All right. All right, we're out of time for today, but we'll be back tomorrow. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m., and if you're on hold, you'll be first in line tomorrow morning. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump.
All things considered.
All right, guys, I got to sign off and clear out for the next show, but I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.